to be a CEO of the Magnavox company. And one of the speakers that came to the MBA program was an entrepreneur. And I thought, boy, oh boy, that sounds like something I'd really like to do. And Magnavox was about as far from being entrepreneurship as you can imagine. So I graduated from Pepperdine in July. I moved to Boulder in September to take over a company. It was quite a change, from a big company to a small company, to having a complete staff, to doing most of it myself. And the truth is, people that start, I had 23 years at the Magnavox company when I left. So I was pretty ingrained in a large company politics and environment. And people that come out of that into entrepreneurship either do well or fail miserably. And part of it is the resources available and the number of jobs that you have to do and the breadth of the job as opposed to the depth of the job of what it was before. Since then, I've done 7 other companies where I was CEO over a 20, I got here in '83, so I've done 7 companies since then. One of them was public, which had its own challenges back in the 90s. I could do things then you can't do today, but still had a lot of challenges. Most of them were private. Most of them were either angel-backed to begin with, or venture-backed, or private equity-backed later on as a later stage company. But they've all been high-tech. One of them failed miserably. One of them was an internet company that got burst in the bubble. A couple of them, we made a pretty good a pile of money for the investors and myself. And so today, I do 2 nonprofits. I do this one, and I'm on the board of trustees for a university that I got my bachelor's degree in 1960 back in Indiana. And then I'm on the board of 2 startup companies in Boulder today, both of which are venture-backed, and one of which will be an IPO, we hope, in a year or 2. One of which we hope will make it. Which, by the way, is that's the life you have. It's not. We have no big companies in this community. We have a few. We have Ball Corporation. We've got Storage Tech and Sun, and we got divisions of big companies, but we don't have corporate headquarters here. And so that puts an interesting perspective on the infrastructure that we should talk about at some point. Investment banks don't have a big office here, for example. M&A is, you either do it yourself or you go to Chicago or San Francisco and find an investment banker. Or you get a little boutique shop here locally. So that infrastructure is a handicap for us. Not having corporate headquarters is a fundraising handicap for us for a nonprofit like the Innovation Center. Just because, corporations give money, and you go to Ball Corporation and they say, well, up until recently their headquarters were in Muncie, Indiana. Why would we put very much money into a infrastructure out here? Okay, so I'm going to start back about 1980. And at this point, the Denver, and we sort of lump the economy here as Denver, Boulder, Front Range kind of a thing. And at that point, we were undergoing an oil boom. It was the first generation of a shale oil boom. Every company in Houston had a satellite office in Denver or Boulder, or up in the mountains in Parachute. That burst in 1983, big time, just when I moved here. I was one of the few people who had a job. So what that did is that created a big disruption of people. And a lot of people were offered jobs to go back to Houston or to go to wherever the oil company wanted them to go, but a lot of them said, you know what, there's 300 days of sunshine here, we go skiing, we like the lifestyle here, Houston sucks, we're staying here. That's a great entrepreneurial grounds to create stuff. You know, you need work. Nobody's going to pay you to do it, so you start a company. And that environment still exists here today. I can remember in '83 and '84 and '85, IBM, who has a big plant here, had a bunch of layoffs. And I knew the guy that was running the plant then. And he said, you know what, we transfer them here. And this was when IBM would move people every 3, 4, 5 years.
I've been moved, is what it
There you
says.
go, there you go. And they say, we get them here, they won't leave. So we have this community, and Tim will talk tomorrow about the advisory board that he has available to him that he calls the Board of Advisors. And it's not a board, it's the advisors he uses with the clients that we're working with, the companies we're trying to incubate. How many is it now?
1,500.
1,500, either C-level or next level down, engineers, accountants, finance, marketing, HR, every single thing you can think of people who are very willing to volunteer with the Innovation Center for no pay, just to be around other entrepreneurs, to see new ideas, and maybe find their new job.